For me, there's nothing more sobering than a date with a sunrise, because it doesn't wait. I'm a bit late because I stayed up till the wee hours with my brother Joe, drinking incredibly expensive whiskey and watching Blade Runner, which is the new one. Amazing film. We watched it on my 4K monitor through my Big Dine audios, and it was great. But it does mean that I'm going to have to get to the top of Arthur's Seat to meet this sunrise by my least favourite route, and that is by the stairs. 300 of the bastards. Okay, marketing department has asked me to remind you that if you've taken part in this year's wish list, grab that email and those discounts and check out as soon as humanly possible. Your time is running out, only hours left. If you've had any problems, there's been any kind of misunderstandings, just get in touch with our customer service via our website. Every page has a support button on it. They are overwhelmed with tickets. It's been a huge success this year, so please be patient. But they're a lovely bunch of people and they will consider all cases. My lord, that is by far my least favourite route up to this amazing vantage point. So that's the last sunrise of 2018. Well, it's rising behind those clouds somewhere. I'm going to crack on because I can see some really shitty weather coming in from Glasgow there. You're right there, mate. It's the last day of 2018. I have to say, you know, my last video, linked above and below, I talked about the highlights of the year, and I think I forgot to kind of mention my highlights as a composer, and I guess it's no surprise that my highlight of the year was doing the live Inside Number 9, somewhat a kind of TV historical event. Really proud to be a part of that. Again, linked above, I documented it on this vlog. I've just finished a wonderful TV series that I've also documented, and I guess once we start TXing, they'll let me maybe put some of that stuff up, the kind of sound world I created for that. Things to look forward to in 2019, well, they're plentiful. Going to be doing this sample library piano book. There's some amazing stuff coming up with Spitfire, including a collaboration, which is the biggest collaboration we have done to date, which is saying something. Where my modular project's concerned, I had a beautiful epiphany up here yesterday, and I think I formulated it into an actual artistic project now, which I'm very excited about, and I will share in forthcoming episodes of that. On the walk that I took with a bunch of you, linked above, the other day, one of you came up with a brilliant question, and that was, if I had a year to make myself a better candidate for a composer's assistant, what would you recommend I do within that year? What would I learn? You know, let's think about why composers use assistants. Well, primarily, it usually is, well, certainly when I started using assistants, you get too busy. Too much work for one woman or one man. So you need just a bit of help, more hands on the deck. But often, what is the case is there will be holes in your knowledge. So maybe your first assistants you get on a job will be orchestration, copying, highly skilled. But within your own enterprise, it may be Pro Tools, it may be other tech that you have a less of a ninja ability with. So I thought, well, this is honestly, it's like nearly vertical this climb. So when thinking about my own personal New Year's resolutions and objectives, you know, someone wanting to become a better candidate for composer's assistant, well, I think these all actually tie into actually just strengthening our position as heads of departments, composer's assistants, or grumpy old composers like me. So here are my 6 objectives for 2019. 6. Pro Tools. Whether you're advancing yourself as a composer, moving on to bigger projects with a wider distribution of labour, or indeed advancing yourself as a composer's assistant, Pro Tools will inevitably become a bigger part of your life. You know, when we're acting as our kind of self-contained units, working maybe within our DAW, say Logic or Cubase, we can mix within those, bounce out some broadcast WAVs, and they can kind of spot them into the dub at the other end. But I'm increasingly finding that the safest possible method of delivery is via a Pro Tools session they can import into theirs. This guarantees everything is synced up, that the stems are correctly aligned, etc., etc. And for bigger projects, you need to become a real ninja at playlists and how playlists and track groupings interact, because your session will become this kind of Sauron of the entire project. You know, from your demos, being able to view them in a run with the director, to creating tracking stems, to creating mix multi-tracks, to creating dubbing dubbing stems and the final conformed dubbing version. It's a timeline that you should investigate. Myself, I'm good at Pro Tools, but they've changed the I.O. page about 3 or 4 years ago, and I can no longer understand it. So that's my job for me this year, is to better understand the I.O. page. 5. Kontakt. To be able to offer up the ability of creating a sonic universe, whether that be for a composer that you're assisting, or indeed a director and producer, offers you or the composer, instant kind of inspiration, whilst giving your directors and producers a sense of something truly unique. The ability to program stuff into Kontakt means that you're on a cross-platform piece of software. A bonus, a really good string to your bow. Even though I'm one of the founders of a software tech company that relies on this as a platform, for 11 years now, I've never learnt it. So that's going to be my resolution this year, to basically learn the kind of I think it's 4, maybe 5 key areas of sample creation within Kontakt, which is creating a basic pitched instrument with different zones, dynamic layers and dynamic mixing, velocity layers, round robins, and release triggers. 4, socials. I think becoming a ninja on socials, not only for your own business, is great, but also to be able to offer that up for maybe composers of a generation above who don't really get it or understand it. The ability to go, listen, I can be your kind of social whore, or social pimp rather, whilst you're busy working and getting your dog out of the way of the camera. Oscar! Are you going to lick your privates right in front of everyone? No, thanks, mate. Just for my viewing pleasure. Now he's doing it behind the camera. 3, film editing. And it just puts you in the mind of an editor, really. It's so similar to working in a DAW, whether you're using Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro, which is my favourite editing software, handles multiple codecs better. I think you pick it up in about an hour, so just why not have that as another kind of string to your bow. 2, you try and do something that isn't commercially or career orientated. Give yourself a year to do something truly artistic, something that will advance you, that will nourish your soul, your creativity. 1, no surprises. Health. Yes, sorry, ad nauseum about this, but if you don't have you don't have a business if your business is you. First year was fun, exciting. Second year, it got a bit boring. Third year just became excruciating, absolutely exhausting. I would say the biggest single threat to my health, I think, is the amount of travel I have to do. And that's something that I just need to basically fix with my friends at Spitfire. I promise this is never going to become a kind of fitness channel, but I do, from time to time, stress the importance of getting away from that fucking awful computer, worst place to create music, and getting out into the open and just taking your eyes for a stretch and your mind for a wander. In 2018, I really got into podcasts, 20 years too late, and have received a lot of pearls of wisdom from those. But I would say the biggest pearl I've got out of listening to different people talk about life and stuff, it's actually from the comedian Bill Burr. I don't know if you know him, but he's kind of a Bostonian archetype, very kind of masculine, shaved-headed man. But it also turns out he's really good at baking cakes, and he was quizzed upon this. And he says, learning something like baking cakes really suits a comedian, because basically when you're starting out as a comedian and when you work as a comedian, the idea is to go out there and fuck up as much as humanly possible so that you can learn from your fuck-ups and hone your set, whether that be breaking into the world of being a comedian or indeed putting together an hour special, as they call them. He says, you could become a great baker provided you're prepared to fuck up and throw a load of shit away. And I think for me, that's profound. You're not going to become a better comedian by sitting in your basement like Rupert Pupkin. Likewise, for us composers, I think it's important for us to get out there and to allow ourselves to fuck up, not to stand behind, if only I had this, if only I did this. So whilst I think these would be 6 great things to do within a year, don't allow them to block your progress. Don't allow them to stop you from getting out there and fucking up. And I do think, if anything can be seen by that walk we took up here, whilst we do live in an age where we can communicate via the internet, I do still think it's very valuable to get out there, be seen, to make friends, to exchange war stories, to come together and feel like you're part of this sister and brotherhood. Anyway, thanks as always for your amazing support in 2018, your comments, contributions and suggestions. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. 2019 I think is going to be no less a year for me documenting my life as a founder of a technology company, a media composer and a Willy. Most importantly, have a happy, healthy and successful 2019. Much love to you all. See you on the other side.